Welcome to the Patriots 4th and 2 Facebook page. I'm Russ Goldman, and joining me all the way in England is Claire Cooper. This is going to be a series of videos we're going to be doing called Patriots Fans Around the World. And I just became friends with Claire on Twitter. We've been following each other on the Patriots 4th and 2 Twitter page. And I thought, you know what? Let's start this series with Claire. So, Claire, welcome to the Patriots 4th and 2 Facebook page. How you doing?
Hey, Russ, I'm good, thank you.
Well, listen, thank you for joining me today. And we won't spend too much time, but I want to learn about you and let Patriots fans around the world learn about you. We actually did a podcast just about Patriots fans around the world, I want to say about 7 years ago. And I've been itching to do it again. So I thought this would be a great opportunity. Instead, we're going to do videos. So as we're starting with you, let's talk about your Patriots fan story. How did you begin being a Patriots fan in England?
Okay, it's not the most interesting of stories, if I'm honest. I've always loved things that are American since I was a teenager. It's always been my thing, and unfortunately, I'm a bit late to the party. I didn't really realise that you could have the access that you can to the NFL over here. So I happened to come across it on a free sports channel on my cable subscriber people. And saw that I could watch games and it was brilliant. So I watched a few games. I think one of the first games I ever caught was actually a Green Bay Packers game, which is ironic really, seeing as I can't stand Aaron Rodgers, but that's, we'll put a pin in that. And it was just great. I just adored it from the beginning and I really loved it. As I said, I didn't know that I had the access. I didn't have the pay package that you do for sports. I wasn't able to get that at the time. So I was just able to watch the odd game that was free, that they broadcast. And then I was watching a Patriots game. I think it was the end of the 2016-2017 season. I hadn't heard of the Patriots actually. I just watched the game and was struck by something. They felt like my team. I can't explain it. I know it's loopy. I won't deny that. They just automatically felt like my team, and I was rooting for them. I hadn't rooted for a team particularly when I'd watched a few more games before that, but yeah, they were just my team, and that was it. The Super Bowl 51 was the first Super Bowl I got to watch properly all the way through live
Wow.
TV. I stayed up to watch it. It was my first Super Bowl. We won. It wasn't the best, but we won. We pulled it back, and it just went from there. They just felt more and more like my team. I didn't realize actually when it sort of hit me that they were my team, that they were as successful as they were. I didn't know about the dynasty. I didn't know that much about Tom Brady really at all. So it wasn't a fame and fortune thing that I was seeking. I wasn't looking to support the best team. I didn't realize that at the time the best team had picked me. So that was it really. They chose me.
Okay, so as a Patriots fan in England, and I've talked to many fans in England, how do you get your Patriots information? I'm curious how you get it. Again, around the world, it's a little bit different. Like I said, here, it's nonstop access, all kinds of media here that gives us our access to the Patriots. But it's a little bit different. And I always talk about, especially fans in England, how passionate you are. And the way I look at it is you have to work a little bit harder to get your information. So, and again, the time difference doesn't help either, Claire. So talk about how you get your Patriots fix, we'll say.
The time difference is brutal. It is brutal. Monday Night Football can be very, very harsh. But Twitter is a big thing. To be fair, Twitter is how I stumbled across a lot of things in regard to the NFL. Like I said, I am late to the party. I didn't realise we had the access that we have over here. I didn't know we had as much access as we do. So Twitter, that's a big thing. I've connected with fans over Twitter, so that's amazing. There's all the news on Twitter now. It's just inundated sort of thing. That's how I came across the other podcasts such as Patriots Unfiltered and John Rook at the Playbook. Yep. I came across them initially through Twitter. Epic. And the other podcast as yourselves on 4th and 2 and Mike on Locked On, all those things would just come through Twitter, and I get a lot of my information through those different podcasts, through those different radio shows, sorts of thing. I came across the Game Pass. I think it's classed as Game Pass Europe over here, because I think you
Yep.
guys can get it, but it's classed as just Game Pass, I think, anyway.
Sure.
When I realised I could subscribe to that, suddenly the doors open to all the games and all the past games and even programs and stuff like that. I must admit, the Game Pass has many faults, but it also is, as I said, it opened the door for me. It paved the way for me to be able to get access to the various things, to be honest. So those are really just the main sources. I know there's other sources. I know some of the people that I talk to, some of the Pats fans on Twitter. There's a lot on Instagram as well. But to be honest with you, because there is quite a broad expanse on Twitter, I tend to just stick to Twitter, because you can sort of overwhelm yourself with social media, in all fairness, to a degree. So I must admit, Twitter is my NFL thing, to be honest with you.
Okay, great. And you said something interesting. So let's go back. Before I ask about, say, your favorite game, let's talk about that Super Bowl through your eyes, because you're still new to the Patriots in the NFL.
Yeah.
So we're at halftime, okay? Take us through what you were thinking at halftime. Again, 5-hour time difference too. What were you thinking at halftime of the Super Bowl against the Falcons, and how it ended up with this dramatic come from behind? Patriots were down 28-3. My son has a 28-3 shirt, so that, again, they've sold pretty well. But what were you thinking? Again, you're still a new fan at this point.
Yeah, mostly. I mean, I wasn't as passionate about Patriots when I watched it the first time as I am now, as I have evolved. So I guess it wasn't as emotional as it would be, for example, if we came across Super Bowl 51 now, it would be so much different for me. Back then it was mostly just a game, and it was the team that I was rooting for, without sort of realizing how much access I could have to them. Yeah, it was an epic game. I mean, the comeback, we didn't play great to start with, and then the comeback was just, you almost can't write something like that. It was so cool, sort of thing. But yeah, I was still quite new to the access of it, all sorts of things. So I don't think it holds as much then as it probably would now, definitely.
Okay. When was there a game that it all clicked for you, that maybe it's a favorite game that you just became completely, I'm all in on the Patriots? Was there a game? Was there a moment?
I mean, I have to just let everybody know. Most people know anyway, but my memory absolutely sucks. My memory's so bad. It really is. It's embarrassing, really, to be fair. I can't remember all the stats and all the games that everybody can remember. It's terrible. My memory's shocking. I don't think there was an epitome. I don't think there was this that light bulb moment. It just, when I first saw them back in the 2016 season, a couple of games, it just felt more and more like my team. And then, like I said, we won the Super Bowl. I realised the access that I could get. It meant I could support them as a team, that sort of thing. So I don't think I had that one lightning strike moment, I don't think. Not that I can remember.
Okay. That's okay. I don't have the greatest memory either, Claire. Okay. So let's move on. So you've really, again, now you've become a full-fledged, you're all in Patriots fan. And it's been a little bumpy ride the last few seasons, okay? So let's talk about your view of last season, because now you are really into it. And me as a Patriots fan, I was extremely disappointed, because after coming off of the Super Bowl against the Rams, I actually thought they had a legitimate chance to go back-to-back. I really did. Win 2 Super Bowls back-to-back. So I want to get your thoughts on last season for you, watching the Patriots, and I'm assuming you were extremely disappointed. And why do you think it ended the way it ended, in your opinion?
I guess my opinion probably will be a little bit controversial. I know people will roll their eyes, because I've always made it known that I'm a huge Gronk fan. So when he retired, the run up to that season was a little bit tainted, because I knew I wouldn't get to see him play. And as far as I'm concerned, he's the best tight end there's ever been. He's just,
I totally agree.
I really think genuinely he's an epic player. Oh, he was an epic player, I guess you should say, really. So him retiring really felt like a gut punch. But you just kind of thought, well, it's okay. A lot of the fans saying, Bill, we trust, and stuff like that. And I thought, it's going to be okay. I genuinely think, and this is only my opinion, and I
Sure.
don't claim to have lots of experience, obviously, and I don't claim to be, a know all of anything sort of thing. I'm still a rookie as a fan, really. I've only been, it's only been 4 or 5 years sort of thing. So, but I think the last season, Brady was on. A lot of people said Brady was on a bit of a downhill, if you like. He's on his way out and all this kind of thing, and he did seem to suffer a bit. And I personally felt that he suffered because he missed Gronk so much. I don't mean in an emotional sense. I literally mean in a strategic sense. I
Sure.
feel that he was making plays in last season that he made previous seasons to Gronk. And it was just almost like he was making a play, but he wasn't there, sort of thing. And I do really kind of think, and I know people are going to hate that I say this, so I hope anybody doesn't get really offended. If Brady had have retired instead of Gronk, if the roles had been reversed, I
Okay.
don't think we'd have had the season that we had. I personally think we would have, maybe been better. I'm probably very wrong. That's fine.
Okay.
It's my opinion. I just think
Sure.
Gronk is he was so integral, and I think he was more integral than people even realise. And yes, I know that I'm a big Gronk fan, and people will say, "Oh, you're just saying it because you just love Gronk." And okay, I've never denied that I'm like that. I'm passionate. I'm not always about logic. I try to apply the logic, but my heart does roll my head when it comes to the Patriots, just because my heart is in there. That's how it
Right.
is. And I do, yeah, I do think the last season wasn't as great because of the lack of Gronk.
Okay. And Claire, it's funny that you say that. It's something we've talked a great deal on Patriots 4th and 2, and I want to mention that. And I like that mug, by the way, that we have talked about on the show, that we were just talking about in our last podcast about what do the Patriots need to do in the draft. And I said the number one need, and I don't care where they're drafting. I said you have to find a tight end. And
Yeah.
and actually I'll say two tight ends, because they're missing two tight ends, but they were more missing Gronkowski. And I think it's fair to say that they never even remotely were able to replace anything in regards to what Gronk could do. And it wasn't just in the passing game, it was also in the running game, because he is such a good blocker. So it's
Yeah.
not crazy for you to say that, Claire, because that could have been the point where when you look at it, and I kept telling myself as a fan, well, they're just going to figure it out. They'll find another way. They have the running game, and eventually the wide receivers will pick everything up. And of course, we had the injuries at wide receiver, but it does come back to Gronkowski. So it's not a bad opinion at all. In fact, it's a very fair opinion to go back to the moment when he retired. So no, it's very interesting you went with Gronkowski. I would, and I'm not going to disagree with anything that you said, because it was lacking the entire season. But let's talk about, again, everyone here is obviously laser focused on Tom Brady leaving the Patriots. So you're new to the Patriots. How does it bother you that he has left, or do you say, you know what, let him go? Let's start new. What is your view of Tom Brady leaving the Patriots?
Well, seeing as he was with the Patriots for 20 years, I can still, even though I've only known him as a quarterback, it's only been sort of my team for 4 to 5 years. So, he's the only quarterback I've ever known anyway. But because of the sort of legacy with the team, I can still appreciate that, even though I wasn't there for it, if you sort of see what I mean. But
Yes.
I was torn. I was torn between believing that, yes, if he wants to leave, we should let him leave. We've got this young guy in Sidham. We haven't got massive of cap space. It's something that we need to, maybe, everybody's saying it's either a rebuild or a reboot. It's one or the other. And I know there's a lot of controversy.
Which one is it, Claire?
I'm not gonna you're not catching me on that one. But because of the logic of it, because of the logic of the money wise and the young guys,
Yep.
I believe, yeah, I do want to have our rebuild or our reboot or our both when we've still got Coach Bill. You know, it makes sense to, if we're going to kind of try and rebuild, if you like, I do feel we would be better rebuilding with Coach Bill still with us. And in all fairness, with no disrespect to him, he's not young anymore. He's going to be looking towards retirement eventually, of course. So we know that there's probably only a handful of years that we're going to be lucky enough to have him as our coach. So having him rebuild our team, I think, is the best. However, there's still that side of me, my heart saying, but it's Tom Brady. He's
I
always
know.
been the Patriots quarterback. How can we have the Patriots without Tom Brady? How can Tom Brady be somebody else's quarterback? So yeah, that does really stick in the craw type thing. I do. Yeah, I miss him as our quarterback, and I wish he hadn't have left. Really, I understand the logic behind it. A lot of people kind of did want him to leave because they wanted the rebuild. They wanted to start again and things like this. And I appreciate all the logic behind that completely. There's still the part of me, the heart, saying, no, just one more year. Just give us one more year, sort of thing. We just want it for one more year. I mean, heck, you kind of want, yeah, let's just keep Brady. Let's get Gronk back and Edelman fit, and we'll just have it all over again.
Sure.
And that's the past that we've had. And we've been lucky as Patriots fans that we've had that, and we do have to appreciate that we've had that, and it was an amazing legacy to have. And it's hard to let that go, and it is hard to see him somewhere else completely. I don't want to see him in a Bucs uniform. I don't, but I'm also trying to be, we've got to give Stidham a chance, give Harry a chance. We haven't got a lot of players at the moment. A lot of our defense have gone on free agency and stuff like this, and the list was phenomenal. I was quite surprised when I saw the complete list of the free agents, and it did make me kind of think, oh my gosh, how has the organisation let it get to the time scale that all these guys are on free agency? Nothing, putting aside Brady completely, not even contemplating that. The guys that we had, Van Noy and Collins and all that kind of thing, it was like, wow, there's so many on free agency that really have brought it together, sort of thing. So to lose them all was really daunting. I mean, we've lost a lot. I know we haven't lost them all. We've lost a lot of them. So I'm just trying to be, really, if I'm honest, I did actually say, I think I said on Twitter a couple of times, because you want to put your passion into it. You want to get behind your team still, regardless of the fact that we might not really be very good, but it doesn't matter because they're still my team, and I don't care. I'm still going to root for them. I still love them. They're still my team, and to me, it's like, okay, let's try this. Let's go on to the next dynasty then.
Yes, and listen, Claire, I completely understand that. I'm going to say something controversial, but I've already said it on Patriots 4th and 2. Listen, I named my son Brady after Tom Brady, okay? But when he decided to leave, even though I think he was actually pushed out the door, that's just my opinion, that, again, I think he wanted to leave, but I think the Patriots weren't too upset that he decided to leave. So I've said this, and people are going to roll their eyes when I'm about to say, but he's dead to me right now until he retires. He's dead to me. I'm not going to watch him in Tampa Bay. I'm not going to do it, Claire. That's just me, because I'm so, again, connected to Tom Brady, what he did for the Patriots, and I appreciate everything. But as I've said several times, and you actually kind of on the same wavelength what I'm about to say, I'm a fan of the New England Patriots, not the New England Bradys. I think there's a difference.
Yeah, totally.
And we are fans of the team. And so, listen, it's time to move on, and we're going to move on with another quarterback. We'll see if they draft a quarterback too. But that's what also makes this interesting. I know you don't want to say it's a rebuild or reboot. Let's end with getting your thoughts on what's upcoming in the draft, if you have any thoughts about that, and on the upcoming season.
I must admit, I haven't had major access to college football. I know that you can over here, but I unfortunately didn't have the right sports package to get a lot of the college football games. So unfortunately, I haven't had a major experience with the young guys that we've got coming in. I
Sure.
saw some when I was in Boston. I was fortunate enough that I saw some of the games when I was in Boston. So I did get to see a little bit of Burrows and stuff like that. So I can appreciate that these guys that are coming through are really good. My memory, as I said previously, it's terrible. So even if I had seen people at the because I did watch quite a bit of the combine, to be honest with you, because I did try and get really
Okay.
into it. But in all fairness, even though I watched these guys at the combine, I can't remember half of them because I'm that good. I'm that blonde. So yeah, name dropping. Name dropping. I'm not really gonna do just because
Not a
I'm just
problem,
gonna make
Claire.
myself because I can't remember. I
Is there a
do know,
position that you'd like to see them target in the draft?
of course, tight end. There's yeah, of
Well,
course,
see,
tight
now,
end.
now,
The
now you
one
and
thing.
I are friends forever. Okay, now you and I are friends forever.
Oh, that's good.
Okay,
That's good. I like that.
because
That's good.
because we're on the same wavelength. While we're talking and we're talking about the draft, I forgot to ask you this, and I think this is a better way to end. Okay, talk about your experience coming up Boston and seeing a Patriots game, coming from England. Your first experience coming to Boston. I told you off air about my experience seeing the Patriots play in England, how fantastic that was. I'm
Okay.
curious, when you came over here for the first time, what was it like for you?
One word. Awesome. Completely awesome. I adored it. As soon as I got into Boston, though, I loved it. Which was strange. It felt very natural, very strange. But I absolutely loved it. Going to the game, it was amazing. I thought maybe I'd feel a little bit nervous. I haven't really gone to major sporting events. I'm not much in for soccer, so I've never really been to a soccer game. So I was a little bit concerned that maybe the grand scheme of things, a lot of people, I might feel a little bit nervous, a little bit uncomfortable, that kind of thing. Not at all. Gillette Stadium is gorgeous. It's a really gorgeous place to be. We lost, which was very unfortunate. Technically it's one of my favorite games, technically, but we lost, which isn't great. It was the Miami game, the end of December,
Oh
just in
boy.
case anybody was curious. Not the best game, not a great game. We yeah, it was close-ish. Just trying to remember the score. Was it 24-27? Yeah, 24-27, which not brilliant, but the grand scheme of things, being able to see my team was that I feel play beyond words. If you want the truth, I had one of the best days of my life, although we lost, which was very unfortunate. But I did. I mean, and the crazy thing is, when I was in Boston, I tweeted a couple of times when I was actually literally in Boston. I'd tweet a
Yep.
couple of pictures. Now, I've never really been one for social media. I've never really been one for, I'm doing this, here's a picture, I'm doing that, here's a
Yep.
picture kind of thing. It's not really my personality. I'm kind of quite bubbly and stuff like that, but I'm also a little bit shy, and I'm not big into kind of going look at me sort of thing. I'm just not like that. So to put it on Twitter, in all fairness, was actually unusual, but I'm really glad that I did, because the interaction that you get with other Patriots fans is also amazing, and that also made me have such a nice holiday, because Pats fans are great. They're so nice. And yeah, it was just, it had added an extra layer, to my holiday, because I'd tweet out a picture and I'd be having a great day, and I'd be in the park or something, and I'd tweet out a picture and people would comment on it and people would like it and stuff like this. And it was brilliant. And I got to go to the pro shop and stock up on stuff, which was great, because you can't get that much stuff. Well, you can get stuff over here, but obviously the expense and
Yep.
things like that, with some of the stuff has to come over from the US. So that was also very cool that I got to go to the pro shop and purchase a few items and things. So, but yeah, going back to the game, as soon as I came away from it, a lot of people kind of said when I went, because obviously it costs a lot of money to go to get from here to there,
Yep.
and to get good seats at the game and stuff like that. So, you can't just do it on a whim sort of thing. So it's definitely a saving up for kind of thing. So a lot of my sort of family said, oh, enjoy it, once in a lifetime opportunity, that kind of thing, which, would sort of make sense, that's in all fairness. But when I came home, it was like, actually, I think before I even came home, it was, I can't do this once in my life. I can't only ever get to experience this once. It was too amazing to only get to do it once. And I mean, unfortunately, with COVID-19 and things like this, this year might be a bit of a washout for many people, and the financial concerns, obviously, of many people. So I'm just really crossing my fingers that I can save up enough money so that I can say to you next year, hey, I'm going to be in Boston, and hey, I'm going to be at a road game and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's epic. And I want to say thank you to Patriots fans, not only to the Patriots, obviously I love the team. I really want to say thank you to Patriots fans, because you guys are awesome. I didn't even realise that you were kind of all out there, obviously. But yeah, Patriots fans are really awesome, and they accept people from the UK, which I was always nervous about. I mean, I met a woman, sorry, at the game at Miami. And if somebody's listening that knows a lady called Jo, who lives in Boston, I think her husband's named Jake. She went to her first Patriots game back in December 2019, the Miami game. She lives in Boston, but it was her first game that she got to. She's a major Patriots fan, and she has been for a long time, but it was her first game as well. And she was sitting behind me, and I kind of was I was literally like a bottle of pop that day, really bad. I mean, I'm bubbly anyway, but that was just crazy. So I was kind of like, oh, I'm really sorry if I shout a bit too loud, or if I kind of like, if I block your view, that kind of thing. I was wanted to be very polite. And she said, oh no, you're fine. This is my first game, this, that, and the other. And we kind of got chatting, and she's so friendly and so lovely. And it just came out that I asked her about if she listened to Patriots Unfiltered, that kind of thing. And she said, oh gosh, yeah. And I said, have you ever heard a lady calling, Claire from the West Midlands, UK? And she was like, oh yeah, I've heard of her. And I went, that's me. And she went, oh my God, that's you. That's amazing. Like this. And it was so nice. It was so wonderful. So if anybody knows Jo, who her first game was December at the playing Miami, sorry, and she's got a husband called Jake, can you please tell her that Claire from the West Midlands, UK said hey?
That's great, Claire. Thank you for sharing that. And if you do come back, I certainly would love to meet you in person. Maybe we can go to the Patriots Hall of Fame, and we can I can give you a personal little tour. I don't know if you got a chance to go there, but
yeah.
Okay, I can obviously show you around even more so.
I came out and wanted to go back in.
Okay, great. Listen, before we wrap this up, because you do have a presence on Twitter, please tell everyone your Twitter account so people can follow you on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I haven't got a major following on there or anything. I'm not majorly on there, but yeah, if you're a Patriots fan and you want to connect with a Patriots fan in UK, I'm at Clazy Claire, which is CLAZZYCLARE.
Okay, and I highly recommend following Claire. I just started following Claire, and I'm glad that I have, and I'm glad that we have this opportunity, Claire, to have this conversation. Like I said, we're going to be doing more of these on the Patriots 4th and 2 Facebook page. I'm glad I started with Claire. I enjoyed your story, Claire. And before we go on a serious note, and and again, heart goes out to everyone around the world, in the UK, everywhere. Please, just stay safe and be healthy as we deal with the coronavirus pandemic. We're all struggling with that, and I just wish you all the best, Claire. Just as I say, stay safe and be healthy, my friend.
Thanks, Russ, and you, and to everybody in the US. Stay safe, stay healthy. Love you guys. Take care.
Okay, great. Well, that's going to do it for this video. For Claire Cooper in the UK, I'm Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching Patriots 4th and 2.